Guys, I thought I'd talk a little bit about Project Life. I've talked a bit about Project Life a few times on my channel over the last 6 years. 6 years, wow, 6 years, crikey. And I haven't talked about it for quite a while. And the main reason for that is because I don't show you any pages from my album anymore because they have photos of my daughter in, and that is kind of like the only reason why I don't share. And someone asked me the other day whether I still did my Project Life album because I've talked about it in the past, and also I'm quite into like my journal cards and things. Like I very often design them and stuff like that. Now I use journal cards in both my Project Life albums and also in my planners and journals. I like to use them everywhere. I'm not just Project Life specific. But yes, I am still doing Project Life, and I am still really loving the album and the inserts that go with it. Now I don't think I Project Life in the way that a lot of people here on YouTube seem to do it. My pages are really quite basic actually, and they are pretty much just photos. I know a lot of people that do Project Life and share their spreads here on YouTube. They tend to kind of use them as pocket scrapbooking, and they use embellishments and die cuts and labels and all kinds of thing on their pages. And I really enjoy watching those process videos, and I think they're absolutely beautiful, and I love those pages. I think they're very inspirational, but they don't work for me, and they don't work for me for a couple of reasons. Firstly, there's not enough room for me to do that. So every week without fail, I do a spread in my Project Life album. You can see a couple of albums just behind me there on my sideboard. I'll show you those in a minute. So every week I do a spread in my Project Life album. And what I do is every Sunday night I do this without fail. Occasionally I miss a Sunday night, like if we're away or we're out doing something. But if not, if I do, I will then do it on Monday night. Because I have learned that I have to do it pretty much straight away, because otherwise I forget. And then the longer I leave it, the more of a chore it becomes. And the more of a chore it becomes, the less I want to do it, or I feel like doing it, and it just seems like so much hard work to kind of like scroll through photos, because yeah, I'm a mum, and I don't know about you people that are mums, I take a lot of photos of my kid. Well, I take a lot of photos anyway of everything, because I'm a pathological photo taker. I just love taking photos. That's what I do, and I just enjoy it. And I will take various different snaps of the same thing, and of different angles and different ways and all that kind of stuff. I just really enjoy it. I enjoy taking photos, and I always do it on my iPhone, because I have my iPhone with me when I'm out and about, and it's just really handy because I've always got it, and I can just go snappy snap and take a photo. So yeah, always on my iPhone, and I can amass quite a lot of photos in a week of various different things. And so I like to do it every week so that I kind of make sure that I stay on top of it, because for me, memory keeping is important, and I want to kind of look back on our memories and cherish those memories. And I want my daughter to be able to look back on our albums and be like, wow, look at all these things that we did. That was so cool. All of that kind of thing. So yeah, I like to kind of do it every week, but I find that I can very quickly fill up a week's spread very quickly. Between John and I, my daughter, and the fur babies, a week's spread can just be filled up super quickly. So I tend to only use one space for a journal card to write about everything we've done that week, and the rest of the slots I literally just fill with photos, and that's it. I don't really have space or want to make space in my album 4 journal cards at this stage because I want my album to be full of my memories and my photos. I know memories also include journaling, so you know what I mean. I want it to be full of my photos. In the past, before I had a child, it was just me, John and the fur babies, I would very often put decorative cards interspersed as well because I didn't take quite so many photos. And that kind of thing. And also for me, it's a time thing. I mean, I am into so many different things, but I have to be realistic about what I can do. I'm into art, I'm into journaling, I'm into project life, I'm into reading and gardening and stuff. So I need to be really realistic with my time. And I don't really want to spend the time on my project life album with doing like loads of fancy embellishments and things. I literally just like to print the photos and whack them in because for me it's quick, it's easy, and it means that my memories are kind of kept and documented, and they're in the albums and all that kind of thing. So I'm all about like keeping it easy, quick wins, that kind of thing, and like the feeling of accomplishment. And I kind of think that, like, you know, in years to come when I'm retired and got nothing to do, I can always go back over my albums and add embellishments and things to them if I want to. But yeah, for now I'm just like keeping it simple. And for a lot of the time, it's not about time. Sometimes it's about energy of an evening. By the time I've done like the parenting thing in the day, I'm tired of an evening, and I do a little bit of work on my computer, and then I will come downstairs and maybe I'll read a book or watch a bit of TV or something, and then I'm whacked, and so I don't really have the energy to kind of do anything like majorly crafty. And I'm okay with that. This is just a period of my life where I've got small children and I'm just, do you know what I mean? I'm just going with that. I know that when they're older and they no longer want to spend time with me and they're horrible teenager, that I'll have time again to, you know, do more things like that. And I am totally okay with that. It took me a little while, if I'm honest, to sort of find that peace with myself. But yeah, now I'm like totally okay with that, and I'm happy with it, and I'm happy with it how it all works out. So yeah, I will turn around and show you. So this is the sideboard that we have in our front room. You've maybe seen this in previous videos. I don't really tend to do like day in the life vlogs anymore. Today my little one is out with John. They've gone for a walk in the woods, but it's really hard for me now to do day in the life videos with little and around, or photos of little and around and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so you probably don't see this so much anymore. So yeah, this is my sideboard, and on my sideboard, my current Project Life album lives, and we have a few books that we're currently sort of, you know, reading and using kind of next to it. And my Project Life album always sits on top of this record player. So if we do want to play a record, which we do sometimes in the evening, then I have to take that off and move it. And next to that, I keep always my Canon selfie. John bought me this for Christmas a couple of years ago, and it's one of the best presents he has ever bought me. I use this thing religiously every week. As I say, I print out my photos every Sunday, and I love the fact that I can print directly via my phone by Wi-Fi using this. I use this app, the Canon print app, and it's amazing. I absolutely love it, and it's just there, and it makes life so easy just to have everything accessible. In this drawer here is like candles and home stuff. This drawer here is mine, and this drawer there is John's. And in here I keep like my spare paper, my spare ink, and some of my journal cards, so it's all accessible and all at hand, so that I can just like do everything that I need to do. And for me, keeping up with my Project Life album, having everything accessible has been an amazing thing. That's what's really worked for me. In my album, I always use the Design A configuration. So that has like the 4 6x4 pockets and then the 4 3x4s. This is the very front page, and I always fill this in right at the very end of the year. So that's why this is blank, because that's this year's. And yeah, I fill it in at the end of the year because I either use like some of the photos that are excess that I printed and haven't used, because that happens sometimes, or I take some of the photos from like the highlights of the year and then maybe put like a couple of journal cards in there to make a nice title page, which is why it's blank. Yeah, so as you can see, this is just the Canon paper, the back of all my photos at the moment. So that's what I do with the front. Okay, so I just want to show you now like some of the things that I like to kind of put in my Project Life albums. This is a 3x4, as you can see, it's a bit of a close-up. My daughter painted this really lovely picture, and you know, this is a giraffe, and it's like probably like one of the first things that she's probably painted that's like 100% recognisable, if you know what I mean. And so I took a photo of it and stuck it in, because who knows what will happen to the bit of stuff that it was on, do you know what I mean? So that's I think it's a really nice way of kind of like preserving your child's artwork. So like when all this glitter's gone all skanky, you've still got the photo of it. And then for me, these two photos here, these are probably quite rare for me. I tend to use photos like this more in my journal, like in my personal memory keeping, rather than like the family photo album. So this is like a shot of my mug of hot chocolate and my nature journal from when I was in a bird hide. And this is just a picture of the woods that we were walking in. Yeah, I can't remember why it is John, look, in the bird hide. I can't remember why I chose to put these in. Maybe it was one of those weeks where we didn't have quite so many photos. But normally photos like this, these days, I will save for my personal journal. And I will just sort of chat about in my journal, write about my sort of experience and all that kind of stuff. I do like to include scenery in my Project Life albums, like social history. But very often these days, family members kind of take over scenery and little shots like this. But before I had a kid, a lot of my Project Life album had photos like these in it. I do kind of miss putting those sort of photos into my Project Life album, but I have to kind of weigh up what I want more in my Project Life album. Do I want a photo of my daughter, or do I want a picture of my teacup? That kind of thing. So usually the photos of my daughter win, and that's where my journal comes into play, is those other photos, because I know that I can still keep those memories, and like the selfies and all that kind of stuff. Not many of my selfies kind of make it into my Project Life albums. They kind of make it into my journals. And yeah, I kind of tend to use my journals for all those kind of other photos that, you know, like I use my Project Life album for memories for the family. That's the family memories and everything that the family have done. And my journal is me and things that have meaning to me. So like in the future, my daughter might be like, okay, we went for a walk in that wood. That's really nice. That's great. But what's the mug? Whereas in my journal, like I'll probably explain, like we had a really nice time. It was really cold, so we got cozy in the bird hide and had a hot chocolate, and I got my nature journal out and journaled, that kind of thing. If I had more room in my Project Life album, I probably would still put them in there and document them. If that makes sense. But yeah, right now it's all about photos of like people. I do also really like taking photos of the house, like a wider shot of people doing things in the house and in the garden. When we were on holiday and things, I like to take photos of like the vehicle that we had at the time or where we stayed. I like to take places of towns because I find social history, social photography really interesting. I love it when you look back on like really old photos of your childhood holidays and you're like, oh look, I remember when Dad had that green Sierra. Like, do you know what I mean? I love that kind of thing, like looking back at how things have changed, because even just around your home, you don't always realise how much things have changed, but even in a year, things can like totally change. Like our garden this year has totally changed. We cut down a massive bush and put vegetable beds in its place. And so that's like a radical change for our garden. So yeah, I really love taking photos of those kind of things, like, you know, your street, your house, towns, the campsite you stayed on, all those kind of things, because changes can be so small and incremental, but then when you look back, you realise that things have changed massively. And if you hadn't have taken those photos, you wouldn't have realised it. Like, you know, when Woolworths, you know, used to always be on our high street, and kind of always just took it for granted that Woolworths would be there, and now it's not. And I love that when, like, I have a photo of when I was on a carnival float, going through the high street as a child dressed as an elf. No, it wasn't an elf. I was a gnome, very important, you know that. A gnome, and there's Woolworths in the background, and those sort of things. I just think are just really nice to kind of preserve, document, and treasure. I also really like to capture things like this. This was just an over the top shot. They didn't even know I was taking it. This is actually from last year's 2018's album. Just John and Little One. They were just you know, doing some colouring, and I just really like some of the shots that aren't set up. I like set up shots sometimes. I like the come on, say cheese. But sometimes it's really nice to have those like really candid reportage shots where they don't even know you're taking them. Love taking photos of like real life and the everyday, because I just think when I was a kid, we didn't have mobile phones, we didn't have digital cameras, we had film, and you know, you had 24 or 48, and it was expensive to buy film, it was expensive to get it developed, and so you pretty much only really had a film for going on holiday, or for Christmas, or for a special occasion, a birthday party, something like that. And so you didn't really take those candid shots or those everyday shots. They were quite rare. It was like, yeah, it was in our family anyway, like photos were kind of reserved for those kind of special occasions. And then if you had like a couple of rolls, a couple of frames left on your film, you'd maybe snap a quick picture of the dog or something like that. But the everyday and the real life, they weren't really documented in photography. So when I look back at my parents' albums, and I'm not blaming my parents at all, that's just how it was, you know. You bought a film when you went on holiday, you bought a film for Christmas, and you didn't just black photos like we do. So that's one of the things that I really like. Like, I've got photos of my daughter helping with the cooking. I've got photos of the laundry. I'll have to show you that. But just like the real everyday stuff that you forget, that to me is what I want to take. That's what I want to record. I want to record all the holidays, don't get me wrong, and all the special moments and all the special occasions. I do want to record those, and those are really important. But I also think that the everyday, that's kind of where the magic is, and that's where the precious memories are. So that's what I want to record and document. This is a real handprint. I cut out a 6x4 card, painted my daughter's hand, and she did a print. So now I've got that in my Project Life album as well, so I can see back in 2018 how small her little hand was. I think that's just a really precious memory to treasure. At the top of every single spread, the top left, I always use a 6x4 journal card, and I write the week's dates, so the Monday to Sunday dates. And then I just journal a bit about what we've done that week. I kind of just did like a sentence per day, or like, I don't know, just a little bit of writing about what's gone on that week to make the photos have a bit of context. And that's it. That's my Project Life weekly spread. I totally won last year. I completed a whole year without fail, and that was just an amazing feeling. And so far I'm winning this year, so touch wood, I can keep that going. When it comes to like the 3x4 photos, I use an app on my phone called Photo Grid, and that's really good. You can just select 2 photos and put them on the 6x4 together, and then just print them and then cut them in half, and that's it. They're good to go then. So it's really quick, really easy. As I said, I'm all about the quick and easy. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed having a little look and a discussion about memory keeping and my Project Life album. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.